What if the truth isn't hidden? It's just ignored. Hey folks, it's Travis, host of the T-Carp channel and the Sasquatch Awareness Project. And I've got one question for you. Are you ready to challenge everything you thought you knew? Mark your calendars, guys. August 22nd and 23rd, Cave City, Kentucky. SpiracyCon is where truth seekers, survivalists, skeptics, and the curious converge. And I'll be there, representing both sides of what I do, the grounded reality of survival and the unexplained truth that won't stay buried. I'll be sharing real survival strategies, insights from cutting-edge stuff, and pulling back the veil on the truth about Sasquatch. Not the hype, not the hoax, the data, the encounters, and the legacy. My father left behind more than stories. He left behind the truth. Now it's my turn to carry it forward. This isn't just a conference, it's a call to awareness. Get your tickets, pack your questions, and come find the truth with me. SpiracyCon, August 22nd and 23rd, Cave City, Kentucky.
So I'm up in my favorite spot here in the Smokies on top where the natural air conditioning is. And I wanted to do a little intro to a video I'm posting. Don't know exactly what I'm going to call it, but it's going to be on the theme of this Sasquatch in the City. And this is a concept that's pretty difficult for many people to wrap their head around. But the Sasquatch people have developed a system, and they travel through sewers, they sleep in parks, abandoned buildings, they know their way in and out of cities, and it's not uncommon for them to mingle with the homeless and dumpster dive and do all kinds of little mischief and things in towns and cities, especially those that are near larger tracts of land or near national parks and state parks. And my little city's no exception. When I was doing the Sasquatch research hot and heavy, and they started visiting my house, which is in, like I said, a small city. Now there's woodlots and, broken pasture woods, and, there's ways for them to travel to get to my house without being seen. But still, it's a small city, nestled, right beside the Smoky Mountains. So, I started doing some investigation, and what I found out was that there's railroad tracks that lead to what was the Alcoa plant. Now it's Arconic, but the aluminum plant, and that set of rails lead directly back to and go right through one of my research areas, the one at Morganton Road down on Tellico Lake. And so that you could hop a train there or follow the tracks, and it's a straight shot, 28 miles straight into my little town. And then these tracks go by several parks, and there's something's watching me or felt like it. Anyway, and so there's what they call the Green Belt or the Greenway. And it's a series of many miles of paved trails that you can ride your bike, walk, or jog on. And it intertwines its way through the city and by and through Alcoa or Arconic plant property. And there's a really nice creek that runs year-round, and there's a pond. There's a duck pond, and I started noticing that there was actually a high head clearance trail coming through the woods, coming to the duck pond. And there was nobody riding horses there. And it struck me odd. I'm like, And it was an obvious trail. I mean, it was thick, heavy foliage, and the trees, tree canopies, and everything was overlapping. And all of a sudden, it looked like you cut a swath. Nothing to about 14, 15 feet up. I thought that was interesting. And I walk these trails for exercise, and there's beaver, deer, and all kinds of wildlife. And Arconic has a bunch of abandoned buildings, and of course they have fences, and the area is guarded, by, I don't know who has the contract now. Whack-A Hut used to have it. But so basically what I discovered is the Sasquatch were coming into town, spending the daytime in these little wood lots and around the greenbelt area because they can watch people, bike riders, women, children, men, women, the whole gambit, exactly what they like to do. And they can sleep in these old abandoned buildings, and they're quite large. They're old manufacturing buildings, so, it's plenty of room, plenty of privacy. If they happen to get busted by a guard or something, who in the world, what's he going to do? He's not going to say nothing. So anyway, so I discovered that was their home base of activity. And then when the sun went down, especially the juveniles would spread out through the city and go get food. They'd hit dumpsters, they'd hit neighborhoods, they'd visit people like me and others and do their little mischief. And most of the time they sent out the juveniles. And I have had my neighbors, two different sets of neighbors, two different incidents, saw the little, I would call a juvenile. It's about, they described it between 6.5 foot tall, about 200, 250 pounds. So they called it the little black boy in the hoodie. That was their nickname for it, because that's what this Sasquatch looked like, because of its way it had its hair and everything. I don't know if it had a cone or it just had its hair pulled like that. But anyway, that was how they described it. And the strange thing is I got in deep in the research, and the Sasquatch marked me, and they know who I am. They know, anytime I go into an area, the locals, zero in on me. And I actually got whooped at 2 or 3 times when walking this area. And it was a legitimate Sasquatch whoop. In fact, I actually had a friend with me. I took him. I said, I'm losing my mind. Come with me. I want to show you some stuff. And we were walking the Greenway, and we had stopped and were looking at something, and we got whooped at. And he heard it. So, but I took some video. I was walking the other day, and I used my iPhone, took some video, showed some things. And just wanted to post this because I do get emails, a good percentage of people who will live in an apartment complex, and after they've had an encounter, and I've had more than one person, they go out in the morning at their apartment complex in the city, and they look out, the balcony, and down and standing beside the dumpsters, a Sasquatch looking up at them. And that's happened more than once. Or there's a small woodlot, or some overgrowth beside their where they live, and they'll see glowing eyes, and they'll email me and ask me, I didn't think they went in the city. I don't understand this. I live in a big city, or I live in an apartment complex. There's no woods around me. How did it find me? I don't understand. And so though don't have all the answers, this is a little bit of one. I think we have in our minds that they must all live out in the great wilds. And while there are many that do, they're very adaptable. They've been adaptable. They're human hybrids. They're people just like us. So they're going to use their intelligence to gather food and take shelter with the least amount of effort and calorie expenditure possible. So if I already know that these crazy humans don't, believe in me, and don't take, anybody seriously about me, then, I'd be lounging around in a cool abandoned building all day, plenty of water, and then hitting the dumpster down by the steak house and eating me some high-end nice leftover steaks, about 2 o'clock in the morning. Because if I get in that dumpster and that dumpster's got a video camera on it, guess what? Ain't nobody going to turn it over. Nobody's going to play it. You know, how many times have people released dumpster footage or footage behind restaurants or in places, and then, you know, it disappears or no one wants to show it. So, you know, I think the Sasquatch people are aware, very aware of the current state of affairs and how they're not taken seriously, or there's an effort to hide their existence, and they use it to their advantage. And I would if I knew it. I'd say it's pretty obvious, it's pretty easy to tell. And I'll wave at him on the way out. But anyway, I'll cut this footage in, and that's the background for this footage. And hope for those who have had these city-dwelling type experiences and had them follow you back to your apartment complex or your place in the city, maybe just a little bit a better understanding of, you know, why they're there and why they can be there. And that they're not limited. You can't put a limitation on these people. You can't say, well, they can only be in, you know, the woods, or they can only be in the, the wilds of British Columbia. No, they're quite adept to living just about anywhere, and they can use their intelligence to forage, get food. I mean, you know, just think about it. If no one was looking for you and wanted to admit you existed, then the sight of you made people crazy and take off running. And, you know, you pretty much have your pick of what you wanted. So right now they've got it pretty good. And hopefully, before I start rambling again, hopefully that will help. You know, that those people have been writing me about, you know, that type of situation where they just don't understand, can't fathom it. They got followed back home into a rural or even a city type situation where there's a larger population of people. You guys enjoy the video and have a good one. I'm going to tell you a little secret. This is right in the middle of town. This is what they call the Greenway. And over there is Arconic property that's guarded by Whacking Hut. And that's where the Sasquatch in my city hole up during the day. And they can watch people. And then as soon as it gets dark, they come over the fence and they hit the dumpsters and the neighborhoods. And you think I'm crazy, but that's where they're at. A couple of years ago, I was walking. It was late in the evening, and I got grunted at from right here. There was no doubt it was a grunt. There was actually 2 or 3 of them. See, because the creek, across the creek, and then that's guarded area. That's private property, belongs to Arconic, used to be Alcoa. And see, they've got water, got all that on around here. There's some abandoned buildings I'll show you where they probably hole up during the day. And they also got train tracks that come in, and the train tracks lead all the way back down 30 miles from here. Give you an idea. There's all kinds of riders, walkers, constant. So they got all the entertainment they need. Up here's an old abandoned building. I'll show you when we get up here. Look at that. It's hard to see it. Right over there is one of the old buildings. And I think that's where they hole up sometimes. It's easier to see. It's a pretty long building. It's an old building from Alcoa. And literally the woods have grown around it. The main road's about half a mile that way. This is real thick though. Me and a friend came out here and I told him about getting grunted at, and he is someone who did quote research and stuff and has experienced them, and we got out around in this area and we got whooped at. He couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe it. Here's the railroad tracks. Something was stomping around back there. I can't say 100%. It sure did feel like one. And here's the train tracks. And these lead all the way back to Baker's Creek. So if one either walks the track or can jump the back of a train, this is pretty much a straight shot back to Baker's Creek area. It goes right by it. They've got a direct line into the town, into this area. There's constant joggers, walkers, bike riders. Over here's another area across the railroad tracks. Me and Gene got whooped at. It was a pretty sharp one too. 2 of them. So they're in here. It's where they spend the day. And then, like I said, after dark, they hit the dumpster diving and hit the neighborhoods for food and stuff. Do their thing. You wouldn't believe it, but after what happened at my house and all the activity here, I would. be honest with you, it'd be the perfect place. Because what better place to be guarded during the day so nobody can bother you. And ain't none of the guards gonna say anything if they see a Sasquatch. Who's gonna say anything? Crazy.
No. Hadi hayat falan patengwa. Drapa pro video stop and I flies with leather water. McFay parts. Commissioned. But it's all is you will use top of them. They said, when they go to the door, you probably work your way all thing.